Hey everyone, Nashi here. So just wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on the recent update that we got. I played around with it a little bit, so I kind of get a better feel and understanding of some of the benefits and the concerns or issues with these new Sleet Step and Moonrise. So first things first, I'll go over the patch notes real quickly. The Sleet Step skill has been basically modified so that you can use it from Blade or Pre-Awaken. What this does is it actually transitions you from Blade form or Pre-Awaken into Awakening. So this is actually the first time we've had something like this, so it's really nice. We've always had stuff that transitions us into Awakening, or into Pre-Awaken from Awakening. Like Red Moon, Blooming, Stub Arrow, to name a few. You can even do a C-Swab Blind Thrust Cancel, for example. But we've never had something that just actually brings us into Awakening without doing a C-Swap, which was always kind of awkward. And even could ruin some CC potential too, because it floated before. Which, now it does not. The C-Swap does not float. It's only the normal forward attack that floats. Moving distance on the first stab motion of the skill Moonrise has been increased to allow attack while moving. So basically they're kind of sort of trying to give us the same thing that Musa has. So that we can attack while moving, even though the skill is unprotected. But it is really nice because what it does is when it's not off cooldown, basically when the cooldown's not ticking down to get you back to being able to use it, it actually extends your distance pretty far. So whenever you do an awkward situation, like you land a stiff accidentally, and you notice that they are CC'd, Moonrise can actually reach that in most cases, unless you like really chased out of the situation. Most of the time though, like for example, I would perform a Stigma and then back chase to kind of maintain super armor. Well, in this case I can reach them now with Moonrise, whereas before I would not be able to. So that's really nice. The stiffness effect has been changed to stun effect for the first hit, and this will be allowed in PvP now as well for the skill Moonrise. So they changed it from a stiff to a stun. Some people are a little concerned about that. It does affect some combo potential, but I feel that we actually get more out of it than we lose, and it actually fixes Awakening to some extent in terms of like combo potential. Like the previous week, we had basically only stiffs and floats and a knockdown. We had no stun, so if we landed a random stiff, the enemy would escape. We'd need to depend on blooming in order to pull off a stun, which then you're stuck in pre-awakening basically. So this kind of takes care of both of those issues with the Sleet Step and the Moonrise changes. Then of course they added more damage to Sticky Snowflake. This is always welcome. It's not hugely impactful, but Sticky Snowflake is a vital part to most of our combos, so it's always nice to see more damage get thrown on there. Whenever they decide to throw on a frontal guard on Sticky Snowflake, I'll be more than happy, because that'll give us some nifty options, but they are not doing that yet, so just waiting for the day that they do it. Fixed an issue about Absolute Blunt Kick. Don't really care about that one. I don't use kicks. Most people don't use kicks at all. They're kind of hard to fit into combos, especially now with the hard CC chaining being so limited to 2 hard CCs. Pushback on Stigma for PvE only. This is a little different. I kind of don't really understand the context as to why, but of course I haven't really been PvEing lately either, so there probably is a good reason for this. Maybe to compensate for the moving distance of Moonrise. I'm not sure. And then of course they fixed some glitch with underwear. Always a common thing that we get every week. It's always some costume fixes. Alright, so anyways, let's go ahead and do some demo combos. It's just a couple to kind of give you a demonstration of what you can do. Let me minimize this because it's dropping my frames. Alright, here we go. So, mind you, this player doesn't have a high DP, so I'm not going to be able to do a full combo on them properly. They'll probably just melt, but here's some options. So you could do Stigma, Blooming, Sleet Step into Awakening, and then do Petal Bloom to knock them down. This is to account for the 2 hard CC count. Because if you were to attempt Moonrise with its current state, having a stun, you wouldn't be able to float them. And then you'd be in that awkward situation where they're still standing, and then they can retaliate after the stun wears off. You can also do something like this. So to actually, let me demo this. So this does not float anymore. C-swap does not float anymore. But as you just seen right there, the normal forward attack floats. And then you can do it again like this. It's kind of funny. You can just float them on the ground like that. So a combo you can do is something that, who was it? Someone showed me it last night. So credit goes to them. Someone in the Maehwa Discord. I see them all the time in Maehwa Discord, but I can't remember who they are currently. But stop moving. As you see right there, you float with forward attack. You do drill in December on them just for damage output. You can stiff with oppression right at the end of December. And as soon as they're standing, they actually get stiff. They don't have time to react. And then you can do Moonrise, which is a stun, and then kill them. So, pretty interesting combo. You can also do another variety of it too. So you can go... something like that, or you can do a Petal Bloom version as well, or a Red Moon version as well. Oh, it might help if I have cooldown. So here's the... And then you can do Ascension to Heaven as well. So that would be the Red Moon incorporation of it. So that combo gives some flexibility. It allows you to still use Petal Drill, since it's kind of unfortunately not very useful right now. I'm trying to figure out ways to actually make it useful. For example, you can use New Year's Eve, something we never fucking use ever in this scenario, since you can still use Petal Drill. Really, dude? Come on. Since you can still use Petal Drill for engaging, quote-unquote, but not actually CCing, you can use the Lingering Super Armor from it, and then stiff with New Year's Eve, Moonrise for a stun, and then float them, because all that's possible. This allows you to actually be utilizing mouse movement. It's a little difficult, but I'll be able to figure it out eventually. I just gotta practice with it. Right there, even though I fucked up using Stigma first by fat fingering F key, Moonrise was able to encroach on that distance. Some issues to note with Moonrise though. Basically, it's a copy-paste of Dragon Bite at this point. If you look at Dragon Bite, pinpoint and it moves you forward, right? This is what Moonrise does. If I'm right here, right next to him, I'll go right past him. So it has pinpoint hitbox range, which is unfortunate. But if you use it off cooldown, I'll use it again on cooldown. So missed, didn't float, and then I'll do it again. And that's what the old Moonrise did. I would actually connect with the stiff or stun, and then, you know, there would be no issues with that. But, so, that's unfortunate. I really hope that someone makes a fuss about it and gets a PA to make it a cone, rather than this stupid pinpoint accuracy. That actually did connect, so it's just because I was a little bit closer. But in a live PvP scenario, there's a lot of movements involved, especially now incorporating Sleet steps. So you're like basically doing this, and if you're not very careful with your movements in turning your camera, you might overextend and overcompensate and basically make yourself fly forward with Moonrise. So that could be pretty bad, especially since Moonrise is unprotected. So you got to be careful with that. Other than that, I mean, some of the old combos still work. You just got to be mindful of the stun and floats and knockdowns and knockbacks all being a part of the hard CC count. So try not to incorporate too many if you're trying to float a target. Do one stun, and usually probably just Moonrise stun or blooming, and then float with something else before you attempt another stun or whatnot. You can use stiffs to help extend it further if you need to. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the changes. I kind of tried to make the video a little bit quicker and get a little bit of a quick demo. I'll post some more PvP videos when I get more practice in, so look out for those. If you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, give the video a like if you thought it was helpful and you agree or disagree with my opinions. I want to hear that information on the skills. But the only other thing I can think of is just like my thoughts overall on the changes right now. It's a step in the right direction, but we're far from what we were previously. But that goes for every class. So, you know, like, there's really not much that can be said about that other than that. Like, we're not the same, but at the same time, we're not in a awful spot. We're in an okay spot. The stamina changes. A lot of people hate the stamina nerf to Chase. I don't like it either. I don't support that change. I think they need to give us at least 25 stamina back, which is a pretty common consensus across most Maehwa and Musa. But they probably won't do it, so what are you going to do? We have to adapt. We can complain, but if they never change it, then they never change it. So you either learn to adapt, incorporate more... What is gangbang going on here? You either learn to incorporate more walking movement before you start chasing to make it more of like a, you know, bursty style evasive and defensive movement, and just watch out for ranged attacks, or you just, you know, you just drain yourself dry running stamina constantly because that's all you can depend on to protect yourself. Use your judgment. Like, that's it's kind of what is the point of PvP, especially in probably what they're trying to do. They're trying to create more openings for other classes because we are in Chase all the time. And I get that. I can understand that. But at the same time, what I don't like is the fact that they still left a lot of the stamina costs on our abilities, like, say, Stigma, or Dragon Bite, which is 150 stamina used immediately on use. And then Royal Rage, so like Royal Rage, 200 stamina. Stigma being 150 stamina. I don't think there's any other skills that actually have stamina usage on them, but like those are our main like kind of utility movement and engage style skills. And they all use stamina, which is not good. We can't really defend ourselves very well when we're out of stamina. Hopefully they remove those. The only other thing about all the recent changes in my thoughts on Maehwa would be the lack of engage that we have. They removed the stiffness from Blooming Step recently and made it PvE only. That hurt. It wasn't a great engage skill. It did alright, especially since no one had really any engage skills that were protected, but they took that from us. So that's unfortunate. Pedal Drill, they took our stun. I understand why. It's unfortunate. Like I said, I'm trying to incorporate New Year's Eve into this to see if maybe I can make use of it. So I'll hopefully have some videos of me demoing that and showcasing the potential. Hopefully it actually is potential rather than just a dream, basically. And other than that, like Royal Rage was another. You could classify it as a defensive engage or counter engage. Sometimes I would use it aggressively to quote unquote engage, but that now doesn't have a stun on it for PvP either. So the only thing we got pretty much now is Stigma, which is super risky. Using Dragon Bite, Stub Arrow, Triple Shot. I wouldn't even consider doing a charged Stub Arrow anymore because it uses a hard CC, which is unfortunate. And then, of course, Blooming can sometimes be an engage if you catch him off guard. Other than that, though, I mean, it's pretty much just floating him. So that's our biggest problems right now. Stamina and engages. If they can fix our engages, I can kind of deal with the stamina issues. But I would prefer that they gave us at least 25 stam back on our chase. If they did that, we would actually be in a really good spot. And I would be very comfortable, I feel. And I think a lot of Maehwa Musa, or Maehwas, would be pretty comfortable if they added that kind of changes in. I don't know what they could do for the engages. I really want Drill to have its stun back, but since they gave Moonrise stun, I don't see that being a potential. So, anyways, sorry for the long-winded discussion. Hopefully all that information kind of helps you guys figure out what to do. But yeah, if you have any questions, concerns, or, you know, just thoughts in general, just go ahead and post them in the comments below. Again, if you like the video, just go ahead and give it a like. Till next time.